Good evening and welcome to the nighttime heat right here on Prom FM 105.5. Tonight will be an interesting night. This program is aired right here on Prom FM 105.5, also relayed on Radio Kwatike, that is in Bon County, Radio Gegema in the Nimba County, and Radio Wulugizi, that is in Lofa County. Besides, the program is also streaming live on our Facebook page. We are streaming live on our Facebook page. That is the Nighttime Heat Facebook page. Just if you want to watch the show live to follow on your Facebook, just make sure you go to where they have to search and you tap Nighttime Heat, just 3 words. After you've done so, you're going to watch the show, you subscribe and watch the show and share the show. Apart from that, we are also on the YouTube channel. I know you have YouTube on your phone, on your laptop. Just go to where they have to search, and also you tap Nighttime Heat, the 3 words, and then you subscribe. You hit the notification bell so that anytime the show comes on, you are live on the Nighttime Heat. In addition, we are also streaming live on Prom FM Morovia 105.5. Again, Prom FM Morovia 105.5. We want you to relay, I want you to share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also be in the loop of what is coming up, coming out tonight on the Nighttime Heat. Tonight will be an interesting night. We'll be having an interesting discussion. This debate has started, I don't know. But there's this debate that former President George Manuel inherited a better Liberia than the slain Samuel Kayando, than Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and the current president. How true is that? Did we are really inherit a better Liberia? What was Liberia then when we became a president? We'll be talking about that. And of course, to assess Liberia's progress from the Dose regime up to current president Joseph Imaboaka, we'll have Jonathan Pelele. Pelele is formerly of the BBC. He used to be the BBC correspondent. He's now a strong supporter of the current administration. Jonathan Pelele will be right here. And also we'll have the man called Benedict Koluba. Koluba used to be assistant information minister at the Ministry of Development, Finance and Development Planning. Koluba also will be on the show. And so we'll all be assessing Liberia's progress since the day of Samuel Doe, the slain president, up to the day of the current president Joseph Imaboaka. Don't miss the debate. It promises to be fantabulous. It promises to be informing. It promises to be rewarding. Share the show. Again, share the show. Panelist George Kennedy will also be here, and Moses Sandy will shortly join us along with our guests, and together we'll have a splendid time tonight. We want you to share the show. Again, to share the show, just go on your Facebook page and you go to where they have to search, and then you tap Nighttime Heat. As soon as you do so, you're going to watch the show, and then you share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow. Besides, you can go on YouTube and YouTube channel, and then you just tap again the 3 words Nighttime Heat. As soon as you do that, you're going to subscribe, and then also hit the notification bell, after which you're going to watch the show live on your YouTube channel. But today, before our discussion, and shortly will be speaking with Mr. Daniel Yankona. Daniel is the communication consultant at the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. Today, the private sector development received a significant boost, with the signing of some 25 million euros between the government of Liberia and the European Union. I know you want to hear more of that. Daniel Yankona will be right here on this platform very, very soon. We'll be speaking with him on the line. Until then, Saba George is my name. Have get glued to your radio, your phone, so that you can be part of tonight's discussion. I'll be right back after the same.
0. Let's start.
And of course, we are starting tonight. The nighttime heat runs from 8 o'clock tonight, this evening, up to 10:30. We're going to have interesting discussion. Like I said, this program, I always herald that. I always beat that drum so that this program, it's not politically connected. It has no political linkage. This program is for all of you, the imposition, the non-position, the opposition. You can come on this program and your views can be reflected on this program. In addition to that, this program is not like other program that you listen to that's just one-sided. Either you hear government beating its own drum on one program, or you hear the opposition to beating its own drum. This program came into the fore in a nice space so as to provide that balance. So I know this is the program that you want to listen to, where all views can be reflected. So let me welcome one of my panelists, George Kennedy, quickly. George, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Saba, and thank you to your studio team, the technicians, and thanks to the public. And also to my colleague, Mr. Sandy on the line in the U.S. I say thank you again. You are welcome.
Okay, George, thank you for joining us. And let me welcome Moses Sandy quickly. Moses. Welcome to the program, Moses.
Thank you. It's a pleasure always coming to team up with you and George. It's good to be back. I hope everything is well with our people in Liberia. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, so gentlemen, how was the weekend with the both of you? Moses, you start the ball rolling.
Oh, well, the weekend was great. Yesterday was Father's Day internationally. So being a dad, I had the opportunity of being with my family, the kids.
Oh, that's good.
So it was well spent with the family, as a dad. You know what it means. It's not only procreating, but being a responsible dad, that comes with a lot of, challenges. So we had, Father's Day. I don't know when you guys going to celebrate in Liberia. For us, it was great. Yeah. So we had a real great time. Yeah.
No, actually, the Father's Day, it's globally celebrated on the third Sunday in January globally. But some of the church, I was on the last Sunday in this month. But let me ask you, George, how did you spend the weekend?
Well, it was great. Once we wake up every morning and we are well, and you see the family well, and you can have food to eat. You tell God, thank you, and everyone is okay. The family is okay. We spend the time home as usual, and so we've been minding our business.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. Let me try to speak with Daniel Yankona. Yankona is the communication person at the one of the communication persons at the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. Like I said in my intro, today private sector development received a significant boost with the signing of some 25 million euros between the government of Liberia and and the European Union. I'm sure Daniel was in the thick of the signing ceremony. Daniel, welcome to the Nighttime Heat.
Good evening, Sabo. It's good to speak to you and your colleagues on the Nighttime Heat.
Okay, okay. Daniel, first tell us, how did the signing ceremony go?
The signing ceremony went very well. It was big news for Liberia. Yet again, this one is on the backdrop of the 62 million euros that was recently signed between the European Union and the Republic of Liberia, supporting financial management and energy expansion across the country. This one, as you say, is intended for the private sector. This will go to 25 million euro grant agreement. Will go to boosting private sector key industries like cassava, fisheries, and wool processing. And this will also support micro, small, medium-sized enterprises across the country, increase value addition to local industry, create sustain.
Hello? Hello? Oh, he's off the line. We're hoping that we can connect with him as soon as possible.
Export. Okay. And I'm not hearing you.
Yes, go ahead. Yes, go ahead. You're loud.
I will just add quickly that the grant will promote export and reduce reliance on imports, encouraging inclusive growth across the country. You can come in now.
Okay, so it's for private sector development, but just give us an idea. How is the structure for the private sector to begin receiving or benefiting from such a gesture from the European Union?
So today is the signing of this grant. The actual rollout will start with both sides coming together to determine. The European Union has a project person that will work with sector lead on the project. Mind you, this project, you have the Agriculture Ministry, you have the Forestry Development Authority, you have the Central Bank of Liberia. So these sector leads will come together to now discuss the rollout.
Now, with this signing today, do we know exactly as to when with the provision of the funds or whatever it is to the private sector? Do we know as to when would that get to effectuation? As to when, do we know?
The fund as it is right now has been signed. So all of the technical, if you may, the light lifting, because all of the heavy lifting have been done.
Okay.
So all of these technical things that will get money to start to reach the end users will be done in the soonest possible time.
Okay. Thank you very much, Daniel Yankona. We really appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you so much, and I'm following your show.
Okay, Daniel, thank you for following. Again, share the show tonight. Promises to be very, very interesting. We'll be assessing Liberia's progress from Samuel Doe up to Joseph Boakai, President Joseph Yuma Boakai. There's this debate that been ignited by former BBC correspondent Jonathan Pelede, who is now a strong supporter of the current administration. He said, well, the the government received or inherited a better Liberia as compared to the rest of the other presidents, including Joseph Yuma Boakai. So we'll be looking at, is it true, where did George Weah, what did he inherit from former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and what did he leave behind that has been taken over by current President Joseph Yuma Boakai? We'll be looking at all of the areas, the macro economy, rule of law, and all of those areas to see what George Weah didn't perform at all while he was there for the past 6 years. Again, share the show, please. Just go on your phone, on your phone or your laptop, where you have your Facebook, go to where they have the search and just tap Nighttime Heat. Just 3 words. As soon as you do so, you're going to watch the show and you share the show for your friends, your loved ones, your relatives to also follow. You can also do so on your YouTube channel. You know, the YouTube is also on your phone, on your laptop. Just make sure you tap Nighttime Heat. Again, just the 3 words. You subscribe and then you hit the notification bell so that anytime the show comes on, you get that notification and you watch the show live on YouTube. Also, we are streaming live on Pram FM Monrovia 105.5. Again, Pram FM Monrovia 105.5. Beginning Wednesday, we'll be streaming live on the Taron TV as well. And also, that'll be followed by the DNTV. So, you know, this program is getting larger and larger. The platform is getting more larger and larger. And it's for all of you, the market women, the Yanda boys, the non-position, the in-position, the opposition. This is not a program where you just find a specific group of people, the beating drum for the national government, or you find another program, you find a specific group of people beating drum against the national government. No, this is the program where we bring all sides together and we discuss Mama Liberia. Gentlemen, let me begin with you, George, and before I come to panelist Moses Sandy, although one of our guests is already in studio, but we're waiting for time at 8:30. Let me hear from you, George. Come in, Moses. George, what does it signify?
Okay.
Moses, I'm coming. 1 minute, please. George, what does it signify when you hear those sort of huge grants or donations being given to a country under current President Joseph Yuma Boakai? What comes to your mind?
Credibility, trust. People don't do business. People, bilateral institutions or multilateral institutions don't give their finances to a government that is corrupt, that is not accountable, that does not believe in the rule of law. Most often, you don't see these things happening in a country that is not governing well.
Okay. So you say it's based on trust and credibility.
Credibility.
Moses,
as a result of the performance of that government.
Okay. Moses, what do you stand, you think?
Well, look,
yes,
studies have shown over the years. Let me quickly say that I beg to differ with George. Look, when people
you beg to differ with him?
Yes, I do, and I will provide a couple of reasons. You live in Liberia. In most third world countries, wealthy nations do make donations. They provide grants, not because you are credible, not because you are adhering to the rule of law. Wealthy nations believe that they have a moral obligation to help nations or peoples of the world that are in need. You know, we saw what happened when George Weah was president. Weah administration benefited significantly from the generosity of nations around the world. Does that mean that everything under Weah administration was great? Absolutely not. You remember Moses,
and let me hold you there. Why do you think so? Are you insinuating that those international institutions will just dash that money to governments or institutions without doing due diligence or without evaluating as to whether the government is performing or not? Is that what you're insinuating?
No, that is not what I'm saying. And what I'm saying, I do not intend to put down the generosity of the European Union to come to the aid of the Liberian government. What I'm trying to dispute here is the statement which emanated from George saying that, hey, this demonstrates that this current administration adhere to the rule of law. This demonstrates that this government is performing well. Is meeting the expectation of nations globally. And I beg to differ. The current administration in Liberia does not respect rule of law.
I wanted to let Mr. Sandy know, and let us be very clear. I don't know how many of these countries you see giving aid to Burkina Faso. I don't know how many of these countries you saw giving aid to Mr. Taylor when he was here.
Okay.
Governments that receive aids from these multilateral and bilateral institutions have to be democratic. They have to be performing to some level that satisfies their tax, those bilateral institutions, taxpayer money to come to you.
Okay.
If you don't meet the requirements for their taxpayers' money to come to you, definitely they don't have money. They don't have money wasting. They don't have money wasting. So these people, they come with the projects that they want to support based on your needs. All right. So Mr. Sandy should not tell us that the project got money wasting around. Anyway.
Look, Sober,
Yes,
George inadvertently agreed with what I said. He used the word needs. They come to your aid because there are significant needs. They don't come to your aid only because you are conforming to the rule of law. Wealthy nations believe that they have a moral obligation to help the needy. That's what they do there. You saw the millions of dollars that George Weah administration benefited.
What about Mr. Taylor? What about Burkina Faso?
Listen, Burkina Faso is also benefiting from Russia. You know that. You want to compare Burkina Faso? You want to compare what is happening in Burkina Faso to what is happening in Liberia?
Mr. Sandy, you're missing something.
Okay.
What are we telling you here?
So anyway, let me just drive my point quick. But what I'm saying that we appreciate the kindness, but this does not in any way insinuate that everything in Liberia is 100%, especially issues regarding rule of law, especially issues regarding rule of law. George and I can debate this.
Nobody saying 100%. Nobody added figure. You adding figure. I didn't say 100%. I didn't add figure.
Gentlemen, let's take the debate from another angle. Moses.
Yeah.
Let's forget about the president. Let's now look at the man who's held in the financial sector. Do we say that these sort of goodwills they come in as a result of the man, the performance, the work of the individual who heads the financial sector, because he goes out there and presents all the attractive proposals for development. So do we say he's also considered in the credit that the country should receive? Maybe make a reference to the Minister of Finance, George.
Yes, okay, go ahead, George. So what I was saying, I think Minister Gaffon is doing a very good job at the Ministry of Finance, and the current administration is also measuring up. But what I can say is that for George to attribute this to say, hey, this is happening because we have a government that respects the rule of law, I beg to differ. The current administration doesn't respect the rule of law.
Okay, let's leave it at that. We'll come.
Thank you, Mr. Sandy. Just agree with me. There's no need to put things when they are truth.
All right, so go ahead, Josh. Go ahead, Josh.
Yes, Chief. Yeah. So you just alluded to the fact that yes, Minister Gaffon, because of the economic management team headed by the Minister of Finance, is credible. Who appointed them is the president, this government, and they are there to proffer the economic policies of the government. They have the face of the world in the economic sector, in the global economic sector. Gaffon and alumni, technically, of the African Development Bank, for second time coming Minister of Finance, the man who headed out Liberia's debt waiver of $4.9 billion, multilateral and bilateral debt waiver. So this man goes to Washington, goes anywhere, the people already know. He doesn't need any new introduction.
Surely.
So that is why we say performance. Rule of law, there are challenges everywhere. In the great United States, see a lot of things happening, marrying on the street, arresting civilians. So rule of law everywhere, that challenge. So let's forget about that, adding numbers and stuff, and face the reality, Mr. Sandy. Yeah.
Okay, gentlemen. Again, share the show.
So Soba.
Yes, Sandy.
I just want a few minutes of your time. I do not want to rehash anything, but I want my colleague George and I to have an honest conversation since he chose to go public. I listened to the repeat of our last, broadcast or podcast, and he made reference to the debate that we had regarding the story that emanated from the metro. He did say that I think, and George, let me correct that. I heard you say on our podcast that I'd say I teach uh, journalism or I'm an instructor. George, I am not an instructor of journalism. What I would like the public to know here tonight is that I'm a graduate of the University of Liberia with extensive media experience. I have a bachelor in broadcast journalism. Um, I am a former editor, and when I spoke on that issue, which had to do with the story that emanated from the Metro, I spoke as an editor. I spoke as a career journalist. You made a statement which you cannot defend, and I want you to defend that point. Take a few seconds of your time today. Let's discuss it briefly. You made a statement that the story which emanated from the Metro had no element of news. It had to do with the story which someone brought in says that the paper reported or the media institution reported that the prosecution team was saying that everything, the evidence was based on what is on social media or what is obtained on social media. And you came and countered that hey, the story was not credible and it had no element of news. And I said, yes, I agree with you. We can discuss the issue of credibility. However, I differ with you when you made this profound statement that the story had no element of news. Let's go in the newsroom. You and I, let's discuss as journalists. Tell the public when you say element of news, what does that mean? Let's discuss that briefly, please.
Please, just under 2 minutes. We got just 2 minutes.
When I said, I didn't say elements of news. The first thing I said journalism. And
No,
one of
you said-
the key elements of
said it had no
journalism,
element
listen to
of
me,
news.
is I told you journalism. The key, one of the first element of journalism is truth telling. Was that story truthful? You said there was no element of journalism, there were elements of news. That's how I pull all the information and sent to you. And you saw it. I thought we were already through with it. You're still bringing it back. But
No,
Mr. George,
you chose to
the
rehash
best
it,
thing,
and now you are walking back your statement. Your statement was someone job was on. You said the story had no element of
element
news.
of
Who said element of
journalism.
journalism? No, you didn't
In
say
fact,
that.
the
You
first
said
thing
there was no
is,
element.
let me say,
Uh-huh.
it was even proven after the court ruling, and everything that came from that particular article was proven they were lie.
So no, let's discuss in 2 minutes. Let's
Oh,
discuss in 2 minutes. When we discuss elements of news, what are we looking for? Can you tell us?
Look, everybody look at, they got elements of news, they got proximity,
Yeah.
you got prominence, you got those things, right? Those are elements of news. But
yeah.
when it comes, listen to me, listen to
Mhm.
me,
Go
listen to me.
Go ahead.
We are not forcing.
Yeah.
We are not forcing,
Yeah,
right?
go ahead.
I told you,
Okay, go
I
ahead.
said elements for journalism.
No.
And I went and then captured and sent them to you. The next day when we came on the show, you didn't debate, you left it. So
I
you
wasn't
had
here.
told me, you weren't here,
I wasn't there.
Mr. George.
I wasn't-
Mr. George didn't send it to you. Saba,
No, I didn't.
you send it to him?
I didn't see it. George.
Gentlemen,
Yeah. So please,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah,
try
so
to.
quickly.
I will send it to you on your Facebook page, and we, later on we can discuss that, Moses.
Moses, we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
discuss
So
that.
And I said teacher because you said I hope I'm not teaching here.
Okay.
You know the word you use. You said that what you said.
Yeah,
So who you
so-
going to teach?
Okay, so
let
Moses,
me.
Moses,
Yeah. So
George,
yeah. Sober,
we'll
yeah.
have an extensive discussion on this.
Yeah.
The reason why I
Okay.
kept saying I don't want us to eat the time of our guests. We'll have extensive discussion. We'll bring
Absolutely.
in some hardcore journalists in our media landscape. I'm sure will come to also from parts. of the discussion. We'll be looking at the elements of journalism, looking at your side and the side of George as well. So rest assured. Again, this is the nighttime heat. That's the flavor of the program. This is the program, the nighttime heat. Just you want to watch the show on your Facebook page. Just go to where they have the search and you tap nighttime heat. As soon as you tap those 3 words, you're going to watch the show, and then you can share the show so that your friends, your loved ones, your relatives, your partners can also be in the loop of what is happening tonight. Also on your YouTube channel, either on your phone or your laptop, just go on your YouTube, go to where they have the search, and then you tap nighttime heat. Just do those 3 words. As soon as you do that, you're going to watch the show, and then you subscribe and you hit the notification bell so that anytime the show is on, you can just get a notification and you watch the show live. In addition to that, we are streaming live on Prime FM, Monrovia 105.5. Again, Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. So you can follow all those links, and then you can form part of the program. Beginning Wednesday, we'll also be Carrot will be streaming live on Tyrant TV and later on DNTV very shortly. The platform continues to grow day by day. So again, today, like I said to you, we'll be assessing Liberia's progress since the day of the slain Liberian president Samuel Doe told the current president Ellen Johnson, the current president Joseph Yuma Boyka. There's this debate that was ignited, by former BBC correspondent Jonathan Pelede. He said, former President George Weah, inherited a better Liberia. You'll be spelling that out. I don't know. He's here. He's going to tell us more than what he meant. A better Liberia than that of Doe, than that of Ellen, than that of current President Joseph Yuma Boyka. Why is he coming up with this? Is it intended to find scapegoat now, or to find some excuses because things are not going the way they're supposed to go? Is that a reason or not? You'll be right here already in the studio. We are expecting Benedict Koluba. Benedict was an assistant minister under the regime of the administration of former President Ellen Johnson, said former President George Weah at the Ministry of Finance. Benedict will be here. We have to assess, we have to know exactly, we have to evaluate whether the CDC inherited a better country than any government from Samuel Doe to Joseph Boyka. We must analyze this using historical data. We'll have to do that because our people will have to understand as to where we are, where we were when before President Weah came in, and where we are, and where President Weah, where did he leave the country before former President Joseph Yuma, current President Joseph Yuma Boyka took over. So this is a very big debate. I know you want to form part of it. Share the show. Again, share the show. Go on your phone, your where you have your Facebook, and go to where they have the search and just tap Nighttime Heat. You're going to watch the show on your Facebook page, also your YouTube, the same thing, also on the Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. So let's try to welcome Mr. Jonathan Pelede. Pelede, like I said, is a former BBC correspondent for quite a long while. He's been a correspondent for the BBC. He's currently a former correspondent now. He's a strong supporter of the agenda, of the vision, of the manifesto of current President Joseph Yuma Boyka. He believes that George Weah didn't do well. He inherited a good country, but because of some inadequacy, he couldn't meet what he inherited. What former President Ellen Johnson said if left for him to inherit. We're expecting Benedict Koluba at a moment from now. Benedict should be joining us. We're hoping that he can join us as soon as possible. Please check the backstage whether Benedict Koluba is somewhere around. We're hoping that Benedict can join us any moment from now. We are still expecting Benedict Koluba to join us. We're trying to connect with him. As soon as he joins, we start the discussion quickly. We are expecting Benedict Koluba to join us as soon as possible. But we can be waiting. We have to start the program. So let my panelists, Moses Sandy and George Kennedy, welcome our guests. Moses?
Yeah, my friend and brother, Jonathan, it's a pleasure to have you. You know, the name Jonathan Pelele is a household word, not only in Liberia, but Africa as a whole, having worked for the BBC over the years. So when Jonathan speaks, people listen. So I can tell my brother that tonight he has a real Herculean task. The argument which he has come to make is a significant argument. He has to come with the data to demonstrate, to prove that, hey, Mr. Weah inherited a country that was more stable, viable economically, as compared to a government inherited by the Boaka administration. So, my friend and brother, Jonathan, let me let you guys know we want to be there. We are together. So it's a pleasure to have you, Jonathan. Welcome.
Thank you, Moses.
Mr. Pele, you are welcome. Again, we've known one another in the media for some times. When I was at the Daily Observer, and we worked together professionally, and so I have no doubt in your capability and ability to defend your thesis. We are here to listen and make our input, and I hope that the public, we all will learn from you as you make your presentation. So, thank you. You're welcome.
Okay.
George.
Okay, Jonathan, we're still trying to see because we don't want for you to kick the ball rolling and your colleague Benedict Koluba is now on to listen to you. So he's trying to connect now. He just sent us a text. He's trying to connect quickly. He expected a link. We thought that he had the previous link, but he didn't know that he would have used the previous link. We just told him, so he's trying to connect. Again, let's just announce that this the nighttime heat. If you want to watch the show on your Facebook page, just make sure you tap nighttime heat to where they have the search and you share the show. Want you to share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow the show and watch the show. Also, you can do so on your YouTube channel. Just make sure you go to where they have to search and then you tap nighttime heat. Just 3 words, not plenty of words. 3 words. As soon as you tap, you're going to watch the show, subscribe, and then you hit the notification bell so that you can watch the show anytime the show comes on. Besides, we are also streaming live on the Prom FM page. That is Prom FM Monrovia 105.5. Again, Prom FM Monrovia 105.5. And you can go on the page there and you also watch the show live from your home. This show being relayed by Radio Gegema in Nimba County, Radio Kwatige in Bon County, and Radio Wologisi in Lofa County. Witness FM in New Georgia, as to understand, is also relaying this program. So it's a very big platform. You come on this program, and people are going to hear you and watch you as well. Those in diaspora and everywhere are going to watch you. Again, I want to say this program is it reflects the views of all. And just moving quickly, this program reflects the views of all Liberians, not just only the opposition, not only those in position, or not only those. Okay, I'm sure Benedict should be on by now. You will see on at the backstage. Hoping that Benedict can come on quickly. So again, Moses and George, please welcome Benedict Koluba quickly.
Yeah, George, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you. Or Benedict, it's a pleasure to have you tonight on the show. We hope that this can be a very rewarding discussion for our people in Liberia. They will be listening. They want to hear from you. They want to know what side of the debate you find yourself, and I hope you can prepare to rather stay in defense of what you believe in. So thank you. It's a pleasure to have you, sir.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm late, but Soba was
No, you are
informed that
not. You are not.
Well,
he
we,
didn't send
we
me.
have not even started yet, my man.
Okay, because he didn't send me the link. So I don't know what are the same panelists who was acting like how they call it, one of the discussing or one of the parties to the So I'm happy to be here, and then that you brought my colleague Joe. What's up, my man? Jonathan.
Yes, Benedict Hard, man. Long time.
Yeah, yeah, my man. What's going on?
I'm okay.
I learned you contested too, right? In Nimba.
You were assistant minister for 6 years. You didn't call to
So,
say how.
so
You don't know what I contested.
yeah, so
But I say when
Yeah.
you are in government, it's forget about
take
friends.
control,
So,
so take control,
So
so.
minister, you call me. I'm just saying the senior experience, how you experience. So,
yeah. But in
Okay.
recent years, at least you were in the thick of things. He didn't call to say hi.
no, Jonathan. You have been on top of
But
things.
that's fine, man.
All right, my
You
man.
are busy,
So,
man.
So, gentlemen,
take control. Yeah.
we have to seize that, please, and get into the discussion tonight. Benedict Koliba, welcome to the program.
Thank you, my brother. It's a nice time, at least.
Okay, so let me just go through this. Tonight will be assessing Liberia's progress from Standard Doe to Joseph Boca. We want to evaluate whether the CDC inherited a better country than government from Standard Doe to Joseph Boca. We must analyze his with historical data across key indicators. Okay, we'll do that. First, we'll be trying to inquire what was Liberia's situation before Madam Sirleaf? How did Madam Sirleaf leave it? Where did the CDC pick it up? And where did they leave it for Boyka? And of course, we'll be looking at thematic areas. We'll be looking at key areas, in other words, tonight. So tonight promises to be a very, very interesting discussion. So, Mr. Pelele, let's hear your introductory comment. You ignited this debate for reasons best known to yourself. So let's hear from you, Mr. Pelele. What were you saying?
Okay, I'm glad you are asking what was said. Because I hear some overstatement of what was said in the very studio
Okay.
2-3 days ago. And when I was even listening to the billboard, the bulletin, when I look at it, I thought somebody had said something different from what I said. But when I came to the studio, and you said, this is what I said, and I said, oh, really? So let me just say what I said in studio here.
Surely.
And if the programs that are aired on this program are all recorded, you can
Yeah,
go,
we'll have the recording.
exactly,
Don't worry.
you
We'll have
can
the
go
recording.
back to what was said because I've said it on other platform before. What I said was, since the coup of 1980, led by Samuel Doe, since the coup of 1980, Mr. Weah took over a better Liberia in terms of everything than all the other presidents that said before him.
Okay.
That is, Samuel Doe took over a Liberia that was very stable. Because when they talk about, and his government did not know about the coup apparently.
Okay.
In fact, he had on the eve of the coup, he had just addressed a party convention here in Monrovia, drove to the executive mansion with his wife, and all of a sudden the coup happened and like took him on the west. To the extent that even top officials of the government, the Chief Justice were arrested, the Speaker was arrested, the President Pro Tempore were arrested, Porto Minister was arrested, Clarence Parker, the Secretary General of the ruling party at the time, was arrested, and all of them were killed in the coup. So if they had known that this coup was going to come, maybe some action would have been taken so that Samuel Doe would take over a difficult Liberia, but they didn't know about it. So Samuel Doe took over a very stable Liberia.
Okay.
To the extent that just a few days after the coup, he was going around Taj Mahal, giving money to people and all these things. In fact, he declared people used to pay head tax. He even waived it. So it means the country was stable when Samuel Doe took over.
Okay.
So I'm saying that since the day of Samuel Doe, between Samuel Doe and coming up to George Weah, the presidents that served between there, if you were to add even the interim presidents, the transitional president that served there, Mr. Weah took over a better and more stable Liberia than other them. Between Samuel Doe and the time he took over.
Oh.
If you add all the interim leadership that took over, Amos Sawyer, for example, took over after Samuel Doe. He was recognized in Monrovia here, even though Charles Taylor said he had declared himself president on the other side. You can't tell me that the Liberia that Amos Sawyer inherited were more stable and better than Samuel Doe. You can't say that. So coming to Comakpo, to Ruth Sando Perry, to Owen Tamatela, to all the interim leaders that took over, the Liberia, in terms of everything, in terms of stability, economic stability, political stability, everything else, nobody you can't show any era that was better in terms of stability than the era that President Weah took over. Because he took over when the Edith Sedi came to power, 2006. This disarmament ended in 2004. 1 year later, 2005 was the election. Just 1 year after disarmament. We still have an issue of insecurity here. She took over. And look at it, but Mr. Weah, Madam Sadi ran the country for 12 years. And all of us here, we agree that the country became very stable economically. That's when budgets, when salaries were being paid to government workers, when the integrity institutions are all being put in place, when even our external debt that you were just discussing have been waived internationally, when LECC had been put in place, PPCC, GSC, LETR,
all those
institutions have been put in place.
Okay.
So I'm saying that it is that Liberia that Mr. Weah saw and inherited. And I challenge anybody. We're not talking about performance, whether Edith Sadi did well or Joe Weah did well. That's not the point. We are saying the Liberia, and nobody, except you from different planet, will disagree with me about what I'm saying. Our brother inherited a better country than all the presidents that served, including interim president, after Samuel Doe.
Okay, now you said something that the economy was good. Moses, you said something that the economy was good, the economy that we had took over from early. Do you care to give us your own interpretation, your own reading of the economy being good? I'm coming, Moses.
No, this is Benedict. So I don't want to.
Okay, yeah, Benedict. Yes. Okay, let me.
The reason I came to the studio is I listened to my colleague Jonathan, and you also spoke with me before I came. Jonathan said that President Weah took over a better country in addition to all what he said than even Joseph Boakai, because Joseph Boakai took over a messy situation from President Weah, from CDC. He said the gains that were made by Madam Salif, had the CDC sustained those gains, the country would not have been like this.
Can we play the tape quickly? Can we play the tape?
Wait. Play the tape. So that's what brought me. If Jonathan is saying he didn't see
okay, let's try to get Jonathan program quickly and play the tape. We're trying to find it quickly and just cue to where Jonathan was making his argument about the country that former President Weah inherited. Let's try to see what we can upload it quickly and play and play.
And somebody going straight to Joseph Boakai.
Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Let me just say something quickly. Yes, Soba, you are the moderator of the show. With all due respect to Benedict, I want him to give you the opportunity to moderate. He has the right to disagree. He has the right to say his opinion. to even challenge whatever that Jonathan is saying here today, but to insist that he wants to listen to the past audio before moving further, then he wants to dictate the podcast, and he's not the moderator. Let us give you that courtesy for you to moderate. I just want you to be aware of that. Thank you.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
And like I restate,
Yeah.
well, and I support Mr. Sandy. The fact is that you are the moderator. We are panelists here, Mr. Sandy and I think you are in control. If you decide to play, good. If you say, look, based on what Jonathan has said, I want you to respond to it. And if you cannot respond to what Jonathan has said, right here now that he listened to, and of course, left for him the honors.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
and I would say that before you bring different angles and different aspects of the discussion, first I lay a premise. I want somebody to disagree with me and tell me what aspect of what I've said
It's wrong.
is wrong that you are disagreeing with. And I saw Samuel Doe from the tale of Samuel Doe. He took over a very vibrant country because he killed a certain president who was very progressive. And so Samuel Doe was just overwhelmed with what he had taken over. But from the time of Samuel Doe, from April 12, 1980, up to January 22nd, 2017, government has said between there that anybody tell me any government that took over a better and more stable Liberia between there than George Weah did. Anybody, I challenge anybody. If anybody want to disagree.
So in another word, let me ask you, because I know George and Moses will come in. In another word, I'm trying to still understand it. Are you saying that, including Ellen Sirleaf, because George Weah took over from Ellen Sirleaf, right?
Yeah.
Ellen Johnson Sirleaf.
Yeah.
So it means that Ellen Sirleaf laid a perfect ground for Weah to have continued on.
Not only that, it means also that Ellen Sirleaf took over a more difficult Liberia than George Weah did. And I want anybody to say no to that.
Okay. So
A more difficult Liberia.
Okay.
Liberia that was seeing Tatars.
So in other words, if somebody listen, Moses and George, I want you to listen. In other words, you are saying that. In other words, you are saying that during the Ellen administration, there were some difficulties, right? Right, then that of Weah.
You polishing.
No, I'm coming.
Yes.
I'm coming. Then that of Weah,
Yeah.
right? So it means that under Weah's administration, everything was okay.
I'm saying that the Liberia that the President George Weah inherited was better in terms of everything.
Was
In terms of
better.
everything than Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Charles Taylor, and name all the even.
So in other words, during Ellen's period, everything was okay that George Weah inherited.
So
No,
we are saying complete two different things here.
No, but if you say
All government,
I'm coming,
listen, Soro,
Mr.
every
Pilidi,
government will always have some challenges.
Mr. Pilidi, if you say that former President Weah inherited a better Liberia,
Yes, a better country.
a better country, thank you, than including Ellen. So it means that during Ellen's administration, things were not as better than the one that George Weah inherited. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
right?
the Liberia that she took over was more difficult.
Okay, Moses, you wanted to come in?
Let me hear them disagree.
Let me provide some background information for everybody here.
Mhm.
And let's go back to the Turbo era. Okay, in 1980, prior to the military coup, Liberia's national budget was 200 million United States dollars. When the military took over, they went into the treasury, depleted the resources of the country. They left $5 million in the national treasury. When the People's Redemption Council took over, the national budget of the country was 200 million United States dollars. When they took over, the treasury was left with 5 million US dollars. When Toba was president, the country was challenged with recurrent expenditure, just as he had with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, just as he had with Charles Taylor, just as he having now with Joseph Boakai administration. When we say recurring expenditure, we're talking about what? Paying salaries, making sure that government institutions are functioning effectively. That is indeed an age-old problem. Let me tell you, when Toba was president, the research showed that when Toba was president, Liberia's foreign debt was $700 million. When Toba was president, 700 million US dollars. The country was basically in deficit. You had a budget of $200 million and your foreign debt was $700 million. So it means that the Toba era was challenged. When Samuel Doe came to power in 1984, the national budget under Samuel Doe was $375 million. That administration was also challenged when it came to what recurring expenditure. They were spending more money than they were actually earning. The government had a deficit of what? $100 million in 1984. Then, Kenny, 2006, when Ellen Johnson Sirleaf took over the leadership of Liberia. When she took over, the national budget of Liberia was a little over $80 million after all the successive or transitional administration. So it means that the country was literally broke. But guess what? The good thing that happened for the Sirleaf administration is that there was overwhelming international support. The United States, the European Union. You live in Liberia. The United Nations was in Liberia. That woman had international peacekeepers. As a result, the country was stable. There was international donation. The economy functioned because what? There was goodwill. When her administration faded out in 2017, 2018, when George Weah took over the leadership of Liberia, how much did Ellen Johnson Sirleaf leave in the national budget? According to media report, $150 million. That is what Mr. Weah took over with. Now, this is what happened, and that is the challenge that the Weah administration had. And we need to look at this in a broader context. When Mr. Weah took over the leadership, what happened? The United Nations folded up. They left. The funding that was coming from the international community declined. Why? Because the Weah administration was referred to as a kleptocracy, a government of thieves. Do you remember the $25 million that the Weah administration said they used for what? Moped exercise? They failed to account for that money. Mr. Weah started initiating private projects. You know, the 47 condominium. So I'm just trying to name some of the challenges that his administration also had. So I'm a little bit concerned to say that, well, it is true that he met $150 million in the government reserve. The money was there. That's what the Sirleaf administration took over. When Joseph Boakai came in, the coffer was depleted. There's a debate. Mr. Boakai said they met $20 million. Mr. Weah said he left $40 million. So that remains what? Debatable right now. So I want to look at all of these. Who inherited more money and who didn't have? Yes. Let me stop there.
Moses, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Josh, you want to come in so we can hear from, I think Moses gave a detail.
Moses, yes, he said he's constrained to say the truth.
Yeah.
So you see, it is good to say the truth because the truth always set you free. Even if we are to go back to the $40 million, other than the $20 million, the debated $20 million. You say $40 million. It still showed that he inherited better economy, better government than Ambassador Boakai. You admitted receiving $150 million in the national coffers when Madam Salif left. So what's the debate? I wonder, because I really want Mr. For Ben to come in.
Koluba.
Yeah, Mr. Koluba to come in. Let him tell us, because he sat at the not at the monitoring, but the fiscal arm of government. He saw what he saw. Let him give us data as to whether there's any data that better than what being said here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Benedict, I think you listen to OSAS. Do you care to come in now?
Well, Sobo, I sat keenly and listening. I think we've gone almost 30 minutes in the show. And I've only spoken for like 1.5 minutes. And that 1.5 minutes I spoke for, it was of concern. And I still coming back to the concern I raised. I didn't come to this studio to discuss from 1980 or to discuss Tottenham days and come to George Weah. I came to this studio as a moderator because you sent me a clip and I listened to the clip. My colleague, Jonathan Pelele, said that of all the government since Samarkand Day, President Weah inherited a better country than even Joseph Yuma Boakai. It is on the basis of
that's true. This is not debatable. That's the truth.
Chief, you have to listen to me. You have spoken
Please,
for
Moses, please protect my guests. Help me to protect my guests, please. Yeah, go ahead, Benedict.
So, I told you, if you have panelists who have taken side of the debate, they can't debate with me. They can't be panelists and they sit down debating. No. I told you that before I came to the studio. I came here because my colleagues, Senator and myself, were coming to discuss.
Benedict, and Mr. Koluba, please go ahead and speak. Nobody's going to interrupt you anymore. Go ahead.
If Jonathan says that he didn't say and he can confirm that President Boakai or President Weah took over a better economy from than President Boakai, you don't have a discussion. You can have your panelists to be talking around because it's almost like you saying a baby that was born in 1980, and then the baby, you reach to 1990, you say the baby is stronger than when they were born in 1980. If you put our global political context into place, we came from a war situation, right? Julie Bryant was the first president after the war in terms of transitional government after the peace accord. The situation Julie Bryant inherited, if you are discussing and you say Madam Salif inherited a better country or than Julie Bryant, there is no discussion there because Julie Bryant took over. There was a fractional country. The whole country was fractionalized. He was not even in charge. There was not a political system put into place. He was a caretaker. So you can't debate that. You cannot compare Madam Salif and George Weah because Madam Salif, if you want to put it into a context, then you take Madam Salif's second term because she served for 12 years. You look at the excesses, the opportunities she had, then you compare with George Weah 6 years. That is a fair discussion. Then if you move to President Boakai, where George Weah or the CDC government left the state of the economy, then I'm able to have a clear discussion along that. But if Jonathan said he didn't say that George Weah, Joseph Boakai inherited a messy country than George Weah, I don't have discussion, but I can tell you from the trend analysis, the CDC government passed over a better Liberia than Madam Salif passed over to the CDC.
Oh,
Why?
that cannot be.
I cannot speak on sentiment. Would you give me
Benedict, you live in a different world.
You are not an authority.
please, Moses, please give Benedict a chance. Please, Moses.
Let me ask you,
He's
what
our
was
best.
the GDP growth? What was the GDP growth rate in 2017 when Madam President left power? What was the GDP growth rate when we left power in 2018? This is how you make analysis.
No,
What was the GDP in 2017? What was the GDP in 2018? What was the Human Development Index? What was the maternal mortality rate?
so
What was the budget growth rate? You don't have that. So I told you, if my colleague Jonathan has said that Joseph Boakai, George, we are inherited a better country than Joseph Boakai, then we are on a discussion. Other than that,
Okay. So Pereira wants to come in, please.
Okay, Benedict,
yes, sir.
can you repeat? You said that the Liberia that Eden Johnson said it passed over to the CDC government was worse than the Liberia that Georgia passed over to Joseph Boakai. Are you saying that sincerely?
I said, let me repeat. The Liberia, the state of the economy that Georgia picked up from Madam Sirleaf, and the state at which he left the economy to turn it over to Joseph Boakai. In between the two, the state he picked up and the state he turned it over. He turned a better country. You can have good, you can have better. He turned a better country to President Boakai than the country he inherited from Madam Sirleaf.
So, Benedict, when you're talking about a country, when you cited your GDP, I can remember there was a clip of the former finance minister when he said that in the first 100 days of President Weah, he took 27 million people out of poverty. 27 million people. He said it repeatedly. Benedict, I'm coming to you. So anybody can come with statistics. The good thing about our country is that we don't fast check some of these things. Any analyst can say something and go free. But the question I'm asking is, you are still trying to bring Joseph Boakai era into this whole thing, even though the statement you're making is not true. But do you agree now, Benedict? The first premise that laid that since 1980 up to 2017, there wasn't any government that took over a better Liberia than George Weah did. Do you agree?
So except you now want to recuse yourself from the discussion to be a journalist to interview me. Wait, Jonathan, listen to me.
No.
Now, listen to me.
I've let Jonathan listen. I'm speaking as a...
Yeah. So if you want to listen, if you want to put it in perspective, right? Madam Sirleaf succeeded herself from 2005 to 2017. She succeeded herself. The country she succeeded herself in, the state of the country she succeeded in 2017, the one she turned over to George Weah, right? George Weah turned over a better country than Madam Sirleaf. Why? Number one, when you want to compare countries, when you want to compare situation or any individual, you look at the threat they have and the opportunities that are available to them. Madam Sirleaf, and how did they utilize it? Madam Sirleaf have almost 15 to 17,000 UN troops in the country. She wasn't responsible 100% for security of the state. You are BBC journalist in Liberia. Every time police had issue, Ome will put police in jeep, in pickup, and carry them to the crime scene. When we were having election in 2011, Ome was flying election materials from one point to another. Eddie, who is the Deputy Minister for Planning at the Ministry of Education, at the Ministry of Internal Affairs, Eddie Molva, I was part of the NGO community, have flown to New York. There was almost $500 million secured for Liberia reconstruction process. Those resources were not there. I was in Lofa County when the NGOs were providing fuel and lubricant for health centers, when Farah was paying health workers. So when you put all of those framework into place, the first 6 years was about preparation. Madam Sirleaf says yes. George Weah says yes. Was better than Madam Sirleaf says yes because of the economy Madam George Weah received. The economy was growing by 2%. George Weah left the economy at 4.5% growth. So if you want to context, yes.
the security challenges that we went through as a country, we went through them so that there is a better Liberia prepared for future leaders. So I saw the disarmament here. I saw everything that took place from 17,000 United Nations troops to come to stabilize Liberia. All these things were done so that those who would inherit the presidency of the country in the future can inherit a better Liberia. But you still don't want to agree that we went through this. Ellen Sally took over a shattered country. Or 6 years were full of challenges. And she went for 6 years. But we are saying that after all the 6 years now, the debt waiver, they put in place our integrity institution, things that we needed for the country to move were all put in place, and Mr. Weah inherited that. Are you saying that's not true?
No. That's not what I said. I said cumulatively when you
No,
put
okay, but so do you agree that you put all this in place before Mr. Weah took over?
No, when you put all of those together and put all the opportunity Madam Sally had, I'm saying to you, between 2005 to 2011 was a difficult preparatory year.
Okay, thank you.
Listen to me.
And so she prepared a better Liberia for Mr. Weah to inherit.
No, she didn't. Between 2017, between her second term, that is 2011 to 2017, when you look at all of the indicators and the opportunities that were available to her, President Weah turned over a better country to President Boakai than Madam Sirleaf. Last 6 years, she turned over to President Weah. And those are supported by data. The data, go to Central Bank website. I will quote all the data I'm giving you. They are from the Central Bank.
But they are living in Liberia. You don't.
No. And I was where you live. Me, I was living in a village. But what I can tell you is I read Central Bank reports. I read latest report. So you go to the report and compare all the macro indicators. The major reason I came here was when you said that President Weah turned over a Western country to President Boakai, then Madam Sally did. You said you didn't say it. I can't force you to say it. So for me, I will get recused myself from the discussion because I was
since you are very keen
data. I was prepared to give you data to tell you why you are saying it's not true. I heard Moses talking. Moses, let me tell you something. If you come to studio with me, you should come with facts and data. There are two things.
But Benedict, you haven't said anything. You haven't said anything that way.
Moses, listen, there are two things when you're talking about government budget. Madam Sally didn't leave $150 million in the government national budget. No.
She did.
Hey, Jeneton.
No, she did. She did. I know that, but that she did.
No, she didn't. Government runs a cash-based budget. You collect money and spend it. There is difference between government national budget consolidated account. There is difference between international reserve.
No, we are talking about the operational reserve. She actually left that money there.
There's nothing in budgeting called.
But the government of Mr. President, we have to not see how we were left there.
Jonathan, let me, Benedict.
Let's give Benedict the time. Let's give him the time, please.
Benedict is just in the same circle.
So, I just wanted to correct the error.
Moses, 1 minute. Moses, 1 minute. Let Benedict land. Benedict, go ahead.
You guys are three speaking. So you speak for five minutes. Ali, let me speak for 6 minutes. Because you take 15 minutes. I'm saying to you, you are misjudging two things. Consolidated account is the government operational account. In that operational account is you collect and eat, you collect and spend. That is different from what we call the international reserve.
That's the one you went into.
Let me give you 10 now. Take the next time you speak. Because when you are speaking, I listen. So when you say I'm selling there $150 million in the government operational account is not true. When you also mention that is not true. So what I'm saying to you here tonight is when you look at all the indicators, and if you're ready for me to give you the indicators, George Weah took over a country from Madam Sirleaf and left it better than what Madam Sirleaf gave him and gave it to Joseph Boakai in a better way. How? When George Weah took over the country in 2017, the GDP was growing. Yeah, okay, Madam Sirleaf added 2017, so I will not give her 2018 because 2017 is her interim. In 2017, the GDP was growing at 2.5%. George Weah in 2023 left it at 4.6%. In Madam Sali 2017, the inflation was around 12.4%. Go to Central Bank 2012, 2017, 2023 reports. If any of these data will not be true, I will never come in your studio. Inflation, Madam Sali left it with George Weah at 12.4%. George Weah left it with Joseph Boakai at 10.1%. The gross GDP, Madam Sali left it with George Weah at around $1 billion. $1 billion. So you can look at these indicators and say, inflation.
What was inflation? What's about inflation?
Sobo.
Inflation?
Yeah, Benedict.
Madam Sali led inflation with George Weah at 12%, 12.4%. George Weah gave it to President Boakai at 10%. Go to Central Bank 2017, 2023 report. I'm not the one who wrote this report.
Okay, Let's hear from Engineer Sampilede quickly.
Benedict, you are confining yourself to some questionable specifics. But when we talk
Questionable
about
specifics?
yes,
questionable
specifics, because if anybody can call figures, you know.
So they are not truth. Is that
questionable specifics? So,
okay.
But Benedict, just a point. When we talk about somebody taking over a better Liberia, see, for example, what was our debt stock internationally before Ellen Sadi took over? And there were $4 billion. So he had to take the credibility of a government for the international community to waive the debt. It has to take the credibility of the international community for country to decide to do business with you when you were a pariah, prior to taking over. But you keep talking about George Weah passing over a better Liberia over to President. So we talk about, listen, when we talk about a better Liberia, Benedict, there are indicators here as a country that will tell us that our country is on the right trajectory. For example, if integrity institutions are not in place to checkmate everything that we are doing here, and the government painstaking it. This is why any government has said, whatever little thing you do, we got to talk about it. The Chancellor, for example, he took off from National Bank to Central Bank. The credit to him, the tax code that we had here, it was the Chancellor government. But we had certain, our international community, they came out with a benchmark that as a country, we needed you to do XYZ for to do business with you. They wanted us to make sure that the RTR should come to Liberia, should be LRTR. They wanted to make sure that the PPCC here, our anti-corruption fight should be visible. They wanted to see that GSC, and we are saying, Benedict, that all these institutions that should be put in place for a country to be considered serious countries were all put in place, and they were intact and running. And Mr. We are inherited them. You don't want to admit that. That it means that Liberia was that he took over a better Liberia than when Ellen Sadi took over in 2006. What did she mean on the ground? What did she mean on the ground? But she fought hard and put all the institutions in place for her to be respected in the among the Committee of Nations. And so we are inherited that. You don't want to admit, Benedict.
Oh no, Jonathan, what happened is you are scapegoating the discussion. That's why I'm making it long, right?
No, but you live in an issue when we are talking about a country. You are just screwing yourself to one or citing your own figures. But the country that we know, when things are better in this country, you see it as you drive around. The indicators are there.
So, Jonathan, if you judge your indicator by sentiment, that's why I posted.
No, it's not sentiment.
Jonathan, listen to me.
Were the institutions put in place, Benedict? Are you saying that?
Listen to me.
The institutions that our international partner wanted to see in place to take out to be a serious country, were they not put in place?
Okay, Benedict, you said yours.
You said, Moses, when I spoke 1 minute, you said, the Sobo is the moderator. You're not doing that to Jonathan. But let's move ahead. Jonathan, when you say the reason I came here because
I'm coming, Moses. I'm coming. Moses, I'm coming.
Benedict cannot be on air forever saying the same thing. You know.
Let Benedict respond, and then Moses come in, and George comes in as well. Yeah, Benedict.
Jonathan, I came here because you have international clout. When you
but don't play around with sentiment. I mean, let's discuss the issue. I said, either you disagree or you agree with me. If you say that President Weah didn't take over a better Liberia The government has said from the coup of 80, say that. Don't forget about me being an international.
I have
That's
said,
the issue.
I have said, in its totality of our country, the country Madame Selvi took over from herself in 2005. The first term
Was
was
challenged.
2017. The second term, that 6 years, the place he made the country and turned it over to George Weah. The place George Weah took it from and turned it to President Boakai. George Weah turned over a better country to President Boakai than the one he took over from. Why do I say so? Let's go to education, for example. We're looking at parameters of indicators. When Madame Selvi was leaving, she said the education sector was a mess. I thought that's how this conversation was being structured. We go sector by sector and see which one was better. It was a mess. In the first place, Liberia could not be admitted to work because our students were not capable. It is George Weah who admitted the Liberian students to work. Our work force performance was around 25 to 38%. The last year for 2022, 2023, we were around 76% in work force performance. Is that not a better country? George Weah took over the country. There was a national payroll system. You hear people talking about old here and there. There was no payroll system in the country. George Weah brought a centralized payroll system that you can troubleshoot. Sentiments. I discuss on evidence. You go to health sector. Madame Selvi built one new hospital that we know of. But George Weah turned over more than 3 new regional hospitals to President Boakai. So this is why I thought you were coming to the studio way to say.
So he's talking about specifics here. He's talking about infrastructure as well. Let's listen to you, George, before we go to Moses.
You know, the debate. I'm sorry to say, Mr. Kwaliba, I don't know. You will say the Emory Hospital is hospital. It was a building, because when you tell me somebody built a structure, there is no medicine there, it's not a hospital to me. It's a very beautiful structure. I think just getting functional properly. What you did was the issue of this 14 military hospital, which was functional. But I think what I'm understanding here is that it is true all of the institutions of government were functional 100% when the past government of President Weah took over. But how they were managed, that's another thing. Most of them became nearly parallel. You and I here, we saw them. They were not funded the way they should have been funded under that regime, and most of them went. But come on, in our office equipment, they all went zero. It's like even when President Boakai came in, for most of those ministries, they started revamping them. So that was an institution being broken down, in my view, rather than these theoretical figures that people call. These numbers, sometimes the numbers don't explain the details or the actual reality on the ground. That's why sometimes when people call in numbers, I can listen to you. If I'm not there, sometimes I will take a number, but if I'm on the ground, I look at what's happening. I had that problem with it. I don't want to ask. So what happened?
Let me ask this question, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Do we agree with Benedict Koluba, Pelele, Moses, and George? Because what Benedict is saying is that former President Weah turned over a better country to the current president and what he took over from Eddie. Do we agree?
That's not true. In so many ways.
Because that's what he's saying.
That's what Benedict is sticking to. Look, somebody, do you know why even our road projects that were started on Salif became stalled during the time of Mr. Weah? Because the Liberian government, and Benedict knows it from having worked at the Ministry of Finance, there's something called counterpart funding that a country should be paying to the institution that has agreed to give you the money for the project to get going. If you renege on your commitment to pay the money, the project will come to a stop. Gafwan and other people had to go to Kuwait just last month or so to go unlock the project that was like the Lofa Road project, because people who were to put money into the project stopped doing so because Liberia was not fulfilling its obligation to the international, the counterpart funding. And so many other projects that came to a stop. The road between Kanta and Secretary towards Tapeta. So if President Seli can take over, raise ground for so many projects. President Seli broke ground for the Lofa project, that controversial groundbreaking that Mr. Weah was invited to, and people said that was a tacit endorsement of President Weah or Mr. Weah and for the presidency. So if Ellen Johnson Sirleaf can start, or government can start all these things, and the international goodwill is sending in money, and another government takes over, and all of them could come to a stop because we are now fulfilling our obligation as a country. And Joseph Boakai is taking over. Instead of concentrating more on what should be done now, he's going back to correct errors that were made in the Weah government. To go by paying all these people the money that should have been paid to them or 5 years ago, before they say, okay, we now see you to be a serious country, we are coming back. So if my brother Benedict can say that kind of Liberia that Mr. Weah turned over to Joseph Boakai was better, then I need to go to school to know the understanding of better.
The one he took over.
The one he took over.
Okay, George, that George.
Look, guys, let me just come in quickly. And let me give you guys prior notice. As I speak to you, I'm currently at work.
As usual.
Out of my office. Yeah. So I'll be leaving you guys. I'll be leaving you guys soon. But let me say this: the truth of the matter, I know. I always tell people that fanaticism is a disease, blind loyalty. When people refuse to recognize the truth, that question their education. You've seen something that make you appear like you live in a utopia. We all know this. It's public record. When Mr. Weah took over the leadership of Liberia, in the consolidated account, what I am making reference to is in the public domain. The Sirleaf administration left in the consolidated account $150 million US. Mr. Weah never challenged that. No. When Mr. Weah led the leadership of the country, Boakai administration came in, they said, hey, you left a little over $20 million in the consolidated account. Mr. Weah said he left 40. So that is a debate between the two administrations. So someone will inherit $150 million in the consolidated account, and you have a former official of the administration telling us that, hey, we left a better economy as compared to what we inherited. It questions my integrity. I mean, it questions, it confuses anyone. It makes you to wonder as to where we are headed as a country. Let me take you to this other one. The $25 million US that the Weah administration claimed to have used for the mop-up exercise because they said they had excess Liberian dollars on the market. Your finance minister was in the media. And I'm sure, Jonathan, all of you guys sober, or Kennedy, you live in Liberia. I don't live there. Minister Tua told the people of Liberia that they went to Nickerton and they were dishing out money to people. Is that what you call good leadership? People keen, they're trying to fix it. And don't get me wrong, not everything in the Boakai administration is good. They are trying their best. They are trying their best. One of the weakest challenges of this administration is failure to adhere to the rule of law. The administration doesn't respect rule of law. We all know that. But for you to argue that you left an administration, that you left a legacy that is far better off than what you inherited, that's incorrect. That's incorrect.
Okay. Yes. Okay, Moses. We see you. I'm sure on Wednesday. You're leaving now.
Moses
is stay here. The man wants to respond. Please stay here in the meantime.
Moses,
for a few minutes.
I'm listening. I'm listening. Yes.
Moses, from the way I see your face, I can respectfully, traditionally say as a caller, you are an elderly person. When you are on the show to be insulting me In an intelligent way, I don't accept that. But let me correct you. Go either to Google or go to the Budget Express. Then they tell you the difference between consolidated account and international reserve. And you will come back and apologize to me. There was never $150 million in consolidated account when CDC government took over. Consolidated account is an operational account of the government that they put money inside and spend. So that's the first place that tells me all your arguments are flawed because you don't know about government budget.
Benedict,
No,
Benedict, let me correct you. No, let me correct you. You made a significant error here, and we need to correct this because everything we're discussing here is in the media. When you took over the leadership and the Salif administration reported that they left $150 million in the consolidated account, did the CDC challenge that?
Okay, let me challenge you.
When you were at the Ministry of Finance, did you challenge that?
No,
it's a yes or no question. Did you challenge that?
Madam Sally,
okay, he wants to respond on Moses. 1 minute.
No, Moses,
let him respond.
If you bring me a clip or if you bring a proof, let's put this to a challenge. If Madam Sally said, or there was a proof that $150 million was left in consolidated account in 2017 when we took over, let's do it before summer. I'll give you $5,000 US. If you don't prove that, how much you will give me?
You cannot even afford $1,000, and you're telling me you were giving $5,000.
No, listen. Because you don't know.
I just said it. You don't know. I just said it.
Let me just ask Benedict.
Yeah. No. Jonathan, let me respond to your role issue.
Just a question. Benedict, let me just ask a question.
Then I'll put your role issue together.
So the issue is that the money was not left in the consolidated account, but in the reserve, right? The $150 million that the government saw there. Your point is that it was not in the consolidated account, but in the reserve.
Let me move you to the.
I mean, just answer that. I mean, because you said Moses is getting it wrong.
Jonathan, then our BBC interview. You want me to answer yes or no?
You see, that's how.
So let me say this to you. You see, those are the messages. The only reason I'm here is the messages that you're sending. I'm not here to discuss the current government, what the government is doing, what it's not doing. I have made my position long since. I'm only here because you are a professional, allied professionals to come up with fights. The raw credibility you're talking about, let me state that to you very clear. The Lofa Road project, I challenged Minister Gafuan on it before, and I'm challenging you. None of them have come to disprove me. The Lofa Road project was not stored by the CDC government. We unlocked that. The Union Party government, before we took over, took $16 million. Go and read the press release that the Union Party government, the current government, put up on our fund. They took about $16 million for the NPA pool. They didn't pay that money. It is because of that. When we took over on the Lofa Road project, we reprogrammed the entire road project. That's the reason why the road project was going on. Have we not done that? The road would not have gone on. No, listen to me. So for you to say we got a store when there was no pavement on that road, we took the pavement to Golu, you don't want to acknowledge that? In your own home in Nima County, there wasn't a road going to Saclay in terms of pavement. We turned over more than 20, 30 contracts in roads to this government. To my recollection, when we took over, the roads that we inherited contract was about maintenance. From Banga to Guinea Border Road was already completed. That maintenance contract was on. From to Bikana was already completed. The Japanese freeway first line was already completed. We negotiated for the second part. Besides that, almost 90% of the road that this government is doing, those roads contracts were signed, approved, some agreement ratified. This is what we call a better country training over. We didn't have that opportunity. So when you say that we didn't turn over a better country to President Bakai, those are the things I wanted you to come up with. How many road contracts did Madam Sally turn over to us?
Did I hear you, sir? Did I hear you say the road, Lofa Road from Banga to Golu President Weah raised a fund?
I said, let me repeat. Lofa Road from Banga to Salahi, that road when we took over, there was no ratified agreement on that road to let the road to start. We ratified that agreement and we signed the contract.
We're full, sir. We're full, sir.
With the Kuwaiti fund.
Are you aware of the Liberia Infrastructure Trust Fund? And you know when it was set up, what was there, and where the funds will be used, sir?
Okay, let me tell you something. These road projects, just for the purpose of information, because sometimes we don't know, so we just say there is money sitting down those roads projects that the people deposit it there, and then the next government can and take it and be using it. No. When you talk about funding for the Lofa Road, it doesn't mean the money was sitting in the account. It means people have agreed to give money, they sign contract, and you are obliged to do what we call the condition precedence. I think I say here, I will give you references. Go to the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. As there is a gentleman that they call Frederick Cooper. He is still the director for debt management there. Go and ask Alice Whelan. She is the assistant minister for external resource there.
Why did the Kuwaiti government stop the Kuwaiti fund? Why did it stop? During the real, why the flow of the fund from the Kuwaiti intervention stop?
No, had it stopped, it means we're going to have paved the road from Banga to
No, it stopped. Benedict. No. This is why this current foreign minister, or finance minister had to go to Kuwait to make sure that it's unlocked.
Jonathan, you said there were road. I want you to name me one road project beside the controversial one you say that. Those roads.
Which one is controversial?
The Lofa Road, because I'm telling you, I'm giving you references. There was no contract signed on the Lofa Road when we took over. We brought the Lofa Road into motion because, let me tell you, explain, if you want to give me a chance, explain to you about the Lofa Road project. You have 4 or 5 partners to that project. And the agreement for those partners were that if you differ with one of the partners, 4 of you institute when I owe Moses, Sobo can do business with me, even if I'm very clear with Sobo. So the Liberian government took $16 million. One of the funders, as far back 2015, they could not pay. In fact, that rule was not even on the book very clear. Although we were doing the IMF program before we brought all those new programs on the table. So what the funder was that, you know why you are getting all this money as loan. Don't say we should give our portion before the road project starts. So you take on the responsibility of all the funding as a loan to us, and we are going to pay. That's how that road project starts. So the money was there, the government. But again, don't leave something else. Some of these things when we come to the field, let's go look for documents. Let's go for bigger.
Okay, okay, gentlemen, I think we'll have to transition now because we've spoken about the economy, we've spoken about infrastructure.
I can tell you about electricity. I can tell you about electricity in the
country. So we have to come to electricity. By 9:45, we have to open the line.
Yeah, before you go to electricity.
Benedict is still in speech.
No, Benedict is done.
Okay.
So you wanted to
I'm not going, but I'm giving you a chance.
Right? Because Benedict came to the studio with the mindset that something had been said about, the President Bouakai government being better than what George we are doing. Benedict, what I said, I'm sorry the clip was not played, was that when Mr. Weah took over, what was expected for him, having taken over a country that had already put all the measures in place, he was expected to just move on now. And I even started an example, I say in the Great United States, it is a system that is running the country. It's not necessarily the government. Government is in charge, but the system is working. Mr. Weah was lucky to take over a country that had put in place a system. But if the brother had taken the presidency seriously, as opposed to thinking that he was running a collective presidency, thinking that if things spoil, it's not going to be just Weah alone to be here responsible, will be all of us. If Mr. Weah had taken over, this brother was doubted in this country for a very long time. Just how even when it comes to the football area, George Weah wears number 14 today and plays 9 for Liberia. You know why? Because as a footballer, he was doubted. People thought that he was too slow. And now when they took him from the substitute bench, number 14, they put him there, he performed so well. He earned himself that number 9 position. He went number 14. So people had thought that he would apply the football paradigm to national leadership, saying he was doubted by so many people that he was not going to do well in the presidency. Nobody needed to tell George Weah to be serious. He should have just looked at his football experience. That he doubted me as a substitute player. When I got there, I performed so well and I secured myself a position and I went on to even play Euro. But he took over a paradigm for getting this. And if Benedict wants to agree, are you happy, for example, that in the first 11 months, the president forgot about Liberia completely and decided to be his own private properties? And it took about 2-3 weeks to retire number 14. Just the time was going. So everybody rallied around him. When Liberian people decided to prefer George Weah over the leg of Charles Broskin, Alexander Gomez, Joseph Boakai, they didn't do that because they felt that he was a handsome young man. They felt that all these seasoned politicians have failed us, so let us try. We know his academic limitation, but we still try him. But he got there and trying to compare himself. So if you said that George was not proceeding well, then you say, but where were you when Eddie Sadi did this or Charles Taylor did this? No, but Liberian people saw you. They knew that you were not at that level in terms of political maturity. When they said that we are going to prefer you because you will hit the ground running. But you just forgot all these things that Benedict is talking about. You can't take 6 years to put all these things into motion, especially when you took over when all these things, the international goodwill was there. The people were just misled. Benedict, all of you went to Mr. Weah later. We were with him. We were his supporter from the very beginning in terms of promotion in this country. He should not even be advised, for example, to go into the donor funding to take money from there to pay salary. People who advised him to do that were very wrong. When the new U.S. ambassador was coming, what did he say about the government? That everything that we have done for Liberia from 2003 to now has been derailed by corruption in the current government. Current meaning the government of President Weah. That was very demeaning for all of us. Sanctioning officials.
Okay,
that was very demeaning for all of us as a country.
Come in because I'm sure we'll shut open last. We have to talk about access to electricity, Benedict. But respond to it first.
I was talking, Jonathan, you see the problem.
I didn't ask a question to respond.
Yeah, man, Jonathan, when you talk about Jonathan, you just said some of the things and confirm it. What you was out there. You almost you out of him.
You have to adjust your camera.
Sugar smart, so
yeah, please. You're not coming in clear.
Okay, is that okay now?
Yeah.
Jonathan, you doubted President Weah, and even up to today, you are still in the doubting state. Everything he did was wrong, and the truth he told you, you see, when you're speaking, I get you a chance. The truth that I'm telling you is lie. Those who tell you the lie, they are the one you believe. For example, you know, in our country, when Gafon was finance minister, they used to put money in helicopter to carry the Vonja to pay people by cash. It is George Weah who said, no, we should pay everybody through the banking system. Before President Weah took over, people there were not unique identification on the payroll. And I tell you, what the other guy, George, if you think I'm lying, go and ask Gafon. He will tell you I'm lying.
I'm not going to ask Gafon because I know when direct deposit contracts were signed between the government of Liberia and those various banks to pay salaries to people through the banks. I mean, why would you come on the air and be saying this type of thing?
For me to talk. Yes, you're ready for me to talk. It is George Weah who brought national identification card, unique identification on the payroll. People were on the payroll, they didn't have national identification card. It is George Weah who set a payroll system that you can troubleshoot it. That is not still an issue. Our only international airport highway, that was a death trap. It is George Weah who you doubted, who thought that road not supposed to be like that. Even when he was doing it, you were still doubting him. Today, you are taking the glory. When he decided to build 14 Medical Hospital, you still say it didn't make sense. It became a rescue center for all of our people. So this discussion, because the time is there, we are just talking now because you have no issue. The fact that you deviated and said you didn't say George, we are turning over a better country to President Boakai, but they had an issue for the respect of the composition. I guess stay, but I was there led because I came here to prove you wrong. Besides,
No, but even that theory, that the thesis you're bringing was proven wrong. When you try to say that Joe Via gave a better library to Joseph Boakai, even though that was not initially the thought of the discussion, that was also proven wrong. And we cited all the instances to prove you that you were wrong to say Joe Via gave a better country to Joseph Boakai than you took over.
What was the instance that you proved? Did you have a payroll system when George Via took over?
Oh yes. But when the government that inherited when that government took over, wasn't even payroll in this country?
There wasn't a payroll system. It is Georgia who brings.
No, what I'm saying, the government that we are took over from, when our government took over in 2005, 2006, was there anything that payroll in this country?
The government has.
So you took over when all these things have been put in place.
No,
then you took over.
The government had 12 years still. They didn't do a payroll system. Besides that, when Georgia turned over the country, Jonathan, you don't have. I get advice that if you don't have,
gentlemen, let's talk about access to electricity. We have to open the lines. Again, Benedict, do you have statistics on that on that aspect when during the WIA's administration? How effective was electricity expansion program?
So let me say this to you. Mm-hmm. When we took over the country, Jonathan is aware you have almost around 12-14% of the population that has electricity. Electricity is a major problem of our country. In fact, you can expand electricity to the greatest part as long as the source of electricity is not stable. That will not be seen within the population. When we took over, people were paying about 35 cents per kilowatt for electricity. Georgia reduced it as low as 15 cents per kilowatt. The highest was 24 cents per kilowatt. Go to LEC. You have control over the state architecture now. Go and ask them what was electricity cost in 2017, 2016, and what is the cost now? Or what was the cost Georgia left it? What percentage of the population had electricity? It was better. University of Liberia, people were fighting there every day, get for registration. Jonathan, you went to University of Liberia. It is President Weah who digitized University of Liberia to make registration process easy. Is that not a better country? Is that not a better situation? It is. But because in your mind you doubted him so much so, even when he tells you that he's doing and you see it is true, you still say no. I heard George Kennedy talking about the hospital in Babul was not better hospital because no drugs, no. How will you discredit that kind of thing? It's a regional hospital that will build well equipped. But if you equip the hospital with everything, it has to be replenished. So if the government took over, they're not replenishing the resources there, you cannot blame it to President Weah. The 14 military hospital, the hospital in Yapastown.
What was in our hospital? You said people should government should replenish. One thing, I told you here, building a fancy building is not hospital. No, hospital is the equipment and the manpower, the trained manpower.
Was that hospital?
You can use a kitchen side. You build all your technicians, build all your medical things that you can use as hospital. So you see, some of the things sometimes we come. I just quiet. I decided to just keep quiet and listen to you because
was that hospital not equipped?
Almost 85% of what you're saying, most of them you're just repeating the same old theory that you've been saying all the time. You guys been saying because if people send a creditor, you say you don't want broad direct deposit.
Which is not true.
Do you know when the government of Liberia signed that arrangement with banks to pay salary, public workers or people's salary through the banks?
I said, let me repeat.
And you say you meant nothing like that?
Let me repeat. We are the one who started, who started. We are the ones
started
who
what?
put payroll system in place in the country and started paying people, our government workers, through their bank accounts.
No, please. I said when you were in government doing when Honorable Gafwan was Minister of Finance, even before Amara. I said you were in government at that time. I will agree with when you say we.
I was working. No, when I say we, I'm not talking about what you see there. When I say we, we're talking about
Someone.
Oh God.
right?
Okay,
We
finally,
introduced-
let me just open the line.
we introduced mobile bill payment system in the country.
Please,
Mr. Cordova, 1 minute, yes.
Someone.
Now I sound for tonight.
The discussion tonight, even a Cordova try to make it like you are discrediting a particular regime. That's not what we're discussing.
That's not
We are
it.
talking about real sincerity. Are we saying that the government of Georgia did not do anything at all? No. But the sincerity that we expect from our friend is that the position the country was in when the brother came to power. I want you to be fair to yourself to say that, well, he was lucky to take over when everything had been put in place. He was just expected now to drive the country, to a better height. But he is still insisting that they took over a more difficult country than other people. That's insincerity that I clearly see on his part. The electricity that you're referring to was a hydro, the hydro plant. You know what happened to it in 1990? It was destroyed. Coriba, you were very young to know. The hydro plant was destroyed in a fight in MPFL, AFL war. So a government on the 15th of December 2015, the government, I think Johnny said he dedicated the hydro plant there. If President Weah had not inherited that hydro plant, we think about even reducing. You were saying that he did reduce tariff. Was he going to think about that? Where was he going to see electricity or plan to even do that? So why you can agree that all these things were put in place? Now he took over it. Yeah. Was he going to be able to build the hydro plant over?
Jonathan, you know what making the discussion difficult for you is that you have.
No, it's not safe for you because you are trying to be in the same circle. Because for you came to defend. Even the Joseph Boakai government that I support, I don't defend it. I'm a supporter of the government. I don't defend because I know there are some areas that need to be corrected. I'm not happy, for example, that they are very slow in handling the other reports that Georgia refused for 6 years to look into. That he took over. Don't keep complaining that because Georgia did not do it, so we can speed it up. So I have concern too that they are not even trying people because there are some people in the very government whose names are mentioned in the other report. I'm not, so I will not sit down here and just defend everything about what this government is doing because I support them. But Benedict, that's what you are doing.
So, Jonathan, I got like to say that you are here as a discussion. You are not a moral judge to tell me be sincere. You have a.
I'm urging you. I'm urging you.
Jonathan, you got national.
There's nothing wrong with asking you to face the facts, Benedict. You support, you as CDC president, we agree, and it's your right. But you can still look at some wrongs in what they are doing. But if you come just defending everything that has been said, you have your own figures.
Okay. Is appealing to you.
I'm appealing to your conscience. It's not.
Open the lines here.
It is not fair to me. Jennifer is interrupting me. You don't talk. When I write to talk, you interrupt me. It's not fair to me.
But Benedict, take the whole time.
Go ahead and talk for talk so I can open the lines.
Jonathan, if we came to this studio to say, you know why? Let's discuss President Weah regime. What were his plus? What were his minuses? I'm
going to talk about his pluses.
Jonathan, give me a chance now. I can line on some of the excesses we have in our government. I can't shy away from that. Well, what I came here to this studio and what the moderator told me and the clip he sent me was that you insinuated that President Weah took over a better country than Joseph Boakai took over. It means that President Weah had a better country set up by Madam Sali. He came and broke it down and gave it to Boakai in a worse situation. That's just that thin line that I came here to studio for. Well, it doesn't mean that we don't have excesses in the government. We have excesses in the government, and I can state them to you.
Okay.
But
Thank you.
the
Okay.
one making
Okay.
it difficult for you,
For once.
you don't
For
have
once.
data, you don't have facts. You are speaking from sentiments. And when I gave you the national data from the Central Bank of Liberia, you said no, I get number. If it is not in your favor. So
Okay. Okay, Mr. Koluba, thank you. Benedict Koluba is former Assistant Minister of Administration of Finance and Development Planning under the WIAS administration. We also had as guest we also have as guest, because he's still in studio, Mr. Junison P. Lady, and a seasoned journalist. He used to be correspondent for the BBC. He's currently a strong member, a strong supporter of the of current President Bok's agenda and vision as well. He's to do. We have our panelists also. George Kennedy is here. Moses was here earlier, but he had left. It's time for us to open the lines to hear from all of you. You can still share the show. If you wish, share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones can also watch the show. We are on YouTube and Facebook. On Facebook, just tap. Go to where you have the search and tap Nighttime Heat. And then you also watch the show on your Facebook page. On YouTube, you can also tap Nighttime Heat. And then you subscribe and hit the notification bell so that anytime the show is on, you can get a notification on your YouTube channel. We're also streaming live on Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. Again, Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. It's time to open the lines quickly. Let's take the first call on the line. Good evening. Good evening.
Stewart, good evening.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you quickly.
Let me say good evening to your two guests and the panelists in studio.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Monrovia. My name is Theophilus Tito Beliseko.
Okay.
So you know, Big Brother Benedict Koluba is an embarrassment to the youth generation of our country. The Big Brother is a vessel of lies, a margin of fake data. And that's what he parades with George. We are in this country. In fact, that other than told George, we are saying the election, they had the numbers that won the election, and it turned out to be they were lying. Look, I think Mr. Pilili is right that since the board regime, Mr. Josh Weah is the only president of Liberia since the Dothan till current that have taken over it that was stable. So where Benedict Koluba coming from with his confusion? Because Mr. Pilili said this, so now Benedict Koluba is bringing your Udu to say Josh Weah took over, a country that was waiting and then gave President Parker a very good country. That is not true. People stop being embarrassment to this country.
Okay.
Yeah, stop.
Okay, you made your point already. Let's take the knuckle on the line. Good evening.
Good evening, Sabot.
Yes, sir. Benedict, just take note to your
My name is
response.
Diego Gano.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
I want to call
Yeah, I just love to caution our brother Benedict, and let me say hi to Jonathan for his splendid, deliberations. He spoke as a patriot, because a patriot will say Liberia is greater than any other political institution. But Benedict, as he articulates, he speaks only for the CDC administration, but he failed to tell us why George Weah was invited by the CIA. He failed to tell us, the total figure that they met in the cover when they took over from Madame Sali, but he tried to compare the amount they left in cover when the JMB government took over. So, Benedict is not sincere to the discourse, and he should be conscious enough to inform the Liberian people that he had a better future for the children and his current, proceeding. Thank you.
Okay, let's take another call on the line quickly. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you quickly.
And let me say good evening to your studio guest. The name is Eric T. Wilson, and I join your conversation this evening from District 13, Pacific New Jersey Estate.
Okay.
Yeah, let me appreciate people of Benedict, right, for his analysis. But you see, at times we like to sit by the radio and listen to our bigger brother because they have vast experience. Now, the statement that the former correspondent for the BBC tried to distance himself from, I'm a religious follower of Pan FM. I was opportune to have listened to the people that morning. That was the statement for him. But I don't know why he distanced himself from it. You know, as a man, when you make statement, you stand by it. He said, President, we are inherited of better country than President Baka. That was his statement. So as man, when you make statement, you stand by it. It's made to be an intellectual. People will learn for you as well, but you distance yourself from the own statement you're making. Thank for the opportunity.
Okay, many thanks. Let's get a look on the line quickly. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
Good evening.
Let's hear from you quickly.
Thank you. And let me say good evening to your fellow panelists. This is Quayle with COVID, and I joined this conversation from District 3. Let me appreciate all of the panelists, most especially Jonathan Pelele. Mr. Pelele, thank you so much for your deliberations. But I expected you to be telling the former Assistant Minister, Benedict Koruba, that I am getting from the George Weah administration in terms of coming down on free speech. When George Weah took over newly, it was people that generally Pelele that George Weah were targeted in the country because of their things. They say, in fact, Pelele were reporting negative story on Liberia to BBC. Because of that, George Weah threatened this man. So when it comes to comparison between look, George Weah handle a better country more than Baka handle a better country from George Weah. Okay. Internationally, our country dignity has been bad from George Weah administration. Our country have.
Okay, you made a point. Let's get a call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Sober George.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
Thank you. My name is Joma Odabet, and I join you from the borough of Cooltown this evening.
Okay.
Thank you. Let me say good evening to your panelists. Well, let me say this to the former assistant minister, Mr. Benedict Koruba. You know, big brother, you know, you have a fine approach when it comes to the national disco, but this CDC thing that you guys are indoctrinated yourself with is so bad. You cannot see anything negative against your government that was rooted out after 6 years. Then you want to come to the disco and compare the serious managed government that's bringing all of this transformation today. We can see everything is going in the right trajectory. Then you want to compare George Weah administration with this administration. I think it's unfortunate.
Okay.
You guys, you come to the disco with sincerity. Thank you this evening for the opportunity.
Well, let's get a call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
I'm Morris Gable. I want to ask Benedict and good evening to Pelele. Benedict, my question is, do you remember when the U.S. Embassy said, what will President Joseph Jigin Rawat say if he come and see Liberia in this position? Can you also remember that we celebrated peace, 10-year peace on Ellen, giving a credence that we have a better government than ever? How can you, compare those people, that was sanctioned on your government and to your president's decision to not punish him? Thank you.
Okay, let's take another call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Hello?
Yes, good evening. Let's hear from you quickly.
Yeah, this is Masakwa calling from PZ.
Okay.
Did I heard Mr. General Pelele saying supporter we are where he has never been a supporter of President. We are all true President. We are all the news he report. We are not. There's so negative news. You have never been supporter. We are so man mislead nobody say you are supporter. He been supporter. We are.
Okay. Let's take another call on the line quickly. Good evening. Good evening. Hello?
Yeah. Sir.
Yeah, let's hear from you quickly.
Thank you. This is King with them.
Okay.
So thank you. Let me say thank you to all of your panelists. So you see, Mr. Koruba has lost the debate, obviously. Like before you open the line, you ask him about electricity. What was the CDC improvement or impact on the electricity? All we could hear from Benedict is 14 Military Hospital, Emory Hospital, out of the road. They said electricity, then you call it 14 Military Hospital. What we wanted to hear from me is to tell the Liberian people how many megawatts of solar power that the CDC added on our 88 megawatts that the Unity Party left or people living power. Nothing. Zero. So you're talking about connections of home. You say it was 14% of Liberians were connected about electricity. You're talking about taking the electricity from the power and connecting it on home. Is that what they call improvement in electricity? No. The 88 megawatt that the CDC met in power, we expected them to take it from 88 to either 100 or 100 plus. Like now, the Unity Party have returned to power in the 6 years. By August, you will hear that the Unity Party have added additional 25 megawatts.
Okay.
Now the solar panel hydro is under construction. By August, they will be finishing. They will.
Okay, you make a point. Let's take another call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Good evening, Saba George. This is Benny Rappers. How do you do?
I'm okay, sir. Let's hear from you.
Okay, good. I just want to contribute a bit to the brother that who said that George Weah turned over a better country to Joseph Boakai as compared to Ellen Johnson. But let's go to the National Transit Authority. George Weah inherited nearly 90 buses, National Transit Authority buses. By the time he could leave, all 90 buses were in non-existence. Not only that they were certified with that, or they were not really certified, they set the place ablaze. Is that turning a good country over? Just asking, is that turning a good country over, the National Transit Authority? You bring the place down after inheriting 90 buses and you ran it for 6 years? Oh man, Saba, take that man from the show.
Okay. Let's take another call on the line. Good evening.
Hello?
Yes, good evening.
Yes, about good evening.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
Yes, about it saddens me to listen to some Liberian denigrating Benedict Koruba, an intellectual. You know, people who think well. You know, people who think well will come to the disco and try to praise who really doesn't know how to express himself. Benedict Koruba came with facts. We see when so as I said, someone who thinks well would know that Benedict is cool more than all of them. He went into the discussion with facts. You know what I mean? Pelele and all of us were there. They were sentimental in their deliberation. You know what I mean? Then Pelele said George Weah is not serious. We thought that the man was serious. Is the government serious? You see, these are the sycophantic attitude and unrealistic behavior of Liberian. Why Liberian retrogressing instead of progressing? They're not coming with fact. They're giving you numerical data. They're coming. You just tell you, oh, your men were better. Your men were better. Who listened to that? Even my mother, who did not go to school, even pressing Benedict Koruba. You know what I'm saying? Funny people that coming to denigrate man. Then you look at the government.
Okay. We can call anybody funny people, please.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening. Let's hear from you.
Good evening. Yes, good evening, Subla. My name is Edwin and I call from Monrovia. Quickly to the issue. Benedict happens to be my very good friend. I remember when we went to the launch of the PAPD when the consultant I was hired by the CDC government said that every year they would have taken 1 million person out of poverty, meaning that they would have employed over 1 million people every year. So in the crowd, people say, okay, but then in 6 years' time, you have 6 million people.
Then
who the babies
then you respond.
Yes.
He said he knows.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I will ask you for his name.
Edwin.
Which entity?
Yes.
Okay.
To the other point where he talks about the electricity sector. I work in that sector. And I would say this to Benedict. All of the connections that were done between 2018 to 2023 were connections done by donor projects. These projects were initiated under the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government. I can name them. The Monrovia Consolidation Project was an EU project that connected over 50,000 customers in Monrovia.
Yeah.
We have another one called the LACIB AF. It was under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf that took power as far as Bombing and Cape Mount. So there was nothing absolutely done under the CDC-led government when it comes to electricity. All of this bragging that they're doing here, they did XYZ. That's why someone asked them, President Weah did not add 1 megawatt to the grid. What they did in 2022 was the damage of one of our turbines, which of course today we're still being, suffering from that. This government has to now find money to the donors to be able to repair that Unit 1.
Okay.
So,
okay, let's take another call on the line quickly. Good evening. Hello.
Yeah,
Okay. Hello.
I just put Mano General speaking.
Okay, yeah, okay. The best speaking man on our business. Let's get another call on the line. Hello. Hello. Yes, sir. Yes, go ahead quickly.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
Thank you. This is Cherry Monoma. So, thank you so much. And let me say thank you to General Pelele. I think he said everything well. So, when you say the comparison between the two governments, I think the Unity Party inherited bad country from the CDC, then the CDC inherited country from the Unity Party over the last years. Like internationally, our country dignity was spoiled to other countries. Our country diplomatic ties were broken with other countries. Like example, China initiated to construct the 2 overhead bridges for Liberia. But because of Liberia owner George, we are going to vote against China to end the war in Gaza. That diplomatic ties broken between Liberia and China. They took this government. When this government came to power, they took President Bouaké to go to China to renegotiate with the Chinese government and rebuild that diplomatic tie between China and Liberia today. Liberia dignity has been restored. That this overhead bridges today that we're seeing to come to fruition, it is because of Joe Bouaké. If Bouaké would not have gone to China to restore that dignity between China and Liberia, trust me, there will have been no overhead bridges. But Benedict Institute, there will say, oh, the overhead bridges are CDC project. We are CDC project. When CDC voted against China,
Okay.
so voting now America for.
Okay, you made your point. Let's take another call on the line quickly. Good evening. Let's hear from you.
On the borough of Town, I'm Napoleon Wuse.
Okay, Napoleon Wuse, let's hear from you.
Sobo.
Yes, sir.
Let me thank all of your guests. But this is the last time I listened to Benedict Colley on Orchid FM. This is an embarrassment. Benedict Colley was an assistant minister at the Ministry of Finance. When Samuel Toure, the then finance minister, said that $25 that was meant for mop-up exercise was distributed to money changers in Newtown, West Point, and Sunnywan. And we could not find a single money changer in Newtown that Mr. Toure gave money to. Benedict Colley was there. Is that the good country that he turned over to President Bouaké? Benedict Colley was an assistant minister under the Weah's administration. Big Brother Pelele said that the president took close to a year to focus on his private properties. Is that the good country that Benedict Colley is telling us that was turned over to the Unity Party administration? When the Unity Party turned power over in 2017 or 2018, told the CDC, of course, there existed an LACC that was established under the administration of the Unity Party. Of course, today, the Public Procurement Concept, an integrity institution.
Okay, we can't keep going on. We have to take another call on the line. Good evening.
Hello, Sabo.
Yes, hello.
Yes, hello.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Eddie Johnson. I call from Single.
Let's hear from you quickly. We'll take
I've been listening to the discussion. But I know the United Party people, I know they get 2 tons. Just a few minutes ago, somebody called, had their own EDC project. So we are didn't connect, nobody, he do nothing that was a European Union project. So I want you to tell me what are the Manasedi, the one who they had you. Now they like bring government pay for that had you. On the Manasedi, or they see European Union.
Okay. Let's get the call on the
Why are they coming for that argument?
Let's get the call on the line quickly. We'll take the 4 more calls and wrap it up.
Hello?
Good evening. Yeah, let's hear from you.
Hello?
Yeah, let's hear from you. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, sir. I'm James Pratt calling from Congo.
Let's hear from you, James.
Yes, sir. I just want to thank Bernardo Cordoba for his deliberation. I think he's proceeding well, and I think he's debating the issue. As it relates to the United Party people, they will just come with, everyone. One thing I noticed about them, every other people, they are inept. They alone went to school. You know what I mean? That's why the country is going like the way it's going. So it's so sad for us. Bernardo Cordoba is discussing the issue, then Pelele and his legs, then they are discussing sentimental issue. Then how will you come with the discussion? Now getting into some colors and discussing trash. You know what I mean? They may give you facts. When they feel they're empty, they're just saying things that I'm taking it back if you read or the BBC journalist.
Okay. We'll take on the more calls and wrap it up. Quickly, good evening. Calls have been too many.
George.
Yes, sir.
Hello, how are you?
I'm okay.
Okay, from Douala, it's Theophilus Wisse. Are you getting me, sir?
Okay, all right. We missed him. Let's get another call on the line quickly. Good evening.
This is Andrew Johnson from the People Community.
Okay, Andrew, let's hear from you.
I want to ask Benedict. My question to Benedict is that is he really concerned as to how our central bank was looted on Joshua? Is he also concerned why 5 of the permanent ministers on Joshua was censured, including the city mayor on war crime and economic war crimes? Rather, is he really concerned how our diplomatic passport landed in criminal hands? And Andrew Wamprue from the foreign affairs was censured, and today his family is regretting the situation. I mean, 2 minute things. Sorry, I can't say more.
Okay, let's take one more call quickly. One more. Take one more, and then we go back to our studio guests to respond, and then we close up. The calls have been so many. Let's take one more quickly. Good evening. Good evening.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Summer Josh.
Yeah, let's hear from you quickly.
All right. Thank you so much. And let me say thanks all of your panelists. It's Mr. Benedict Colley in studio. Mr. Colley, good evening. But
I'm Koluba.
Yeah. Benedict Koluba. Actually, former minister. So sorry, sir, for the mistake in your name, right? But then, Mr. Koluba, I think this conversation, if you were not prepared, you were not supposed to come. You should have thought.
Okay, that does it. We have to end it up. Let's go to our studio guest, beginning with Mr. Benedict Koluba quickly, because initially we started with Pelele. So let's again this time around. I'll start with Benedict Koluba, and then Pelele can come and wrap it up and respond, and then close it up.
Am I responding and close up, or I'm responding and come back later to close?
Okay, respond.
Okay, so you see, Sobo, I told you, this is what our country had thrown into. Our country had thrown into a situation where those who spread lies, those who insult the president, those who insult national leaders, they are the ones that are being credited, as compared to us who take our time to study and research, provide information to the population. Then they will clap for us. I came to the studio first thing to put the conversation in a context. Jonathan said that Georgia CDC inherited a better country than the country they turned over to President Bouakai. He reneged on that, and you refuse to play the clip. I have the clip. It is that point that brought me here. And then I try to give you data. Jonathan has never provided data, but you listen to the way we have fashioned our country. And one of the things you need to do to protect your case, I'm a very serious-minded national leader. I don't lie. That is why I challenge people always. I don't lie. If we have come to this studio to discuss George Weah government, the SSs, that's a different conversation. If you're ready for it, we can have it. But if we're doing comparison, then we're looking at the aggregate. It doesn't mean that there were no SSs in the CDC government. With that said, there are few concerns. Thanks to those who are inside, there are few concerns. Some might talk about $25 million. Some might talk about electricity rate. So I've never fallen short of discussing electricity rate. I told you the electricity rate. So when it comes to the UP people, donor project is a good thing that are out there, bro. But when it comes to CDC, no. It should get come from the head. Most of the things that are going on in our country, you are partnershiping. When Judy Bryant took over $500 million, where it came from partners. But I can tell you the concern about looting. You see there, somebody said we looted the central bank. Those are the things that bring to the discussion. How did we loot the central bank? He can give us data. I've shown you data from the central bank, 2024, 2023, 2017 report. I gave you the numbers, but you still say, no, I'm lying and insulting me. So what I can say here is tonight, there isn't no debate. General knows, that is why he didn't go to it, that the country we turned over, the foundation was better because we established a national payroll system that was never in existence. Go ask Gafan. Gafan was finance minister. He will tell you there was 3 payroll systems in the country. We took over a country where political appointees salary were never on the same payroll with other people. We have to cut it down. We got punished because we cut payroll down. We took over a country where there was no space to do projects. Because we did that harmonization, that is why we built Johnsonville Road, Bannerville Road, going to Barclay. That's the reason why even if Belele who were to start the road from Ganta to Saklepe, but he said we didn't complete. So when you put all of these things together, we turn over more than 25 road contracts. And you want me to start naming them? I will name them. You go to public,
okay.
If they tell you I'm lying, I will never appear on your station.
Okay, so
I'm not people. I'm the one being insulted.
So you come back to close up. Let's hear from Pelele to respond to the callers. Yeah, Pelele.
Well, I think a caller and Koliba were saying the same thing over and over. If Koliba had a clip that he's talking about, I don't know why he didn't provide a clip to you. But I said exactly the first thing I said today was that I'm sure people record everything that you discuss here when we have guests in studio.
Mm-hmm.
I say here that from the time of Samuel Doe up to the time Mr. Weah took over, he took over a better library. But to please Koliba's curiosity, because he still wanted to compare the government the country that George Weah turned over to Joseph Boakai with the country that George Weah inherited. We still prove him wrong, starting different instances. I didn't want to go that far, but he still wanted to take up beyond that. And Cordoba, we effectively and efficiently discussed what you wanted to be discussed. Because you came with the mindset that we're discussing what President Boakai took over as opposed to what George Weah took over from President Edington Study. But we still discussed that and we started all the instances and said, okay, in view of that, Mr. Weah still took over a better library than Joe Boakai took over from him. And even callers are alluding to all the facts. There was somebody who said I didn't support Joe Weah. As a journalist, I could not have supported anybody. What I said, we promoted Joe Weah in this country. He was a footballer before becoming president. A lot of the young folks who are talking were not around. And a brother who said, Masakwe said I was, Kwewu. that didn't talk about my own personal encounter with George Weah. Of course, I didn't want to personalize the whole discussion to say he did this to me. I know who Mr. Weah is. Whatever the situation, he's former president. So what he did to me personally, to me, is immaterial. What I know that he was given an opportunity in this country to serve, and he was to just take over from, I think, the system that had been put in place for him to make a difference.
Okay.
So that's it. So
okay, okay. Then since you saw in speech, just close up now, and then we can come back to Kolba close up.
No, let him close because I started, so let him close.
Okay, Kolba close.
So when the guys came in studio, they say you are the moderator, and I think you say that the founder. But again, they dictate to you. What that said,
I started.
The man said he started, so you should close the way he closed.
So what that said, what that said, let me repeat that the country we live in today has been fashioned and conditioned to accepting people who sporadically lie or tell lies and insult public officials. Then analytical, critical voices like Benedict Koruma. All I have said here, I challenge one of the panelists, and I will say this to you publicly. If you invite me here next time, if Moses is on the panel, I will not come there. Not because he knows it, because he doesn't know it, and he wants to put me in a state that I will look disrespectful to others. I will not do that. I'm a Koruma, and he comes and he insulting me and don't have information. Anytime you're calling me here, maybe I will even stop coming to your station because he insults me and doesn't have information, doesn't know what he's saying. I don't want to be in a position where the public will see me as a disrespectful person. The public see me as an analytical person. With that said, I can say to you that my position on the state of the economy with trend doesn't mean that everything we did was perfect. Let me let the people know that. If there is a national conversation to tell us the challenges CDC government had or Georgia government had, I am prepared to discuss that. But when it comes to the discourse, to make it to appear like we who are working in the past government, we didn't have hairs on our shoulder, we were not serious to run the country, then it brings me to the picture to defend what we did. But if you come as a patriotic national conversation, I'm prepared for those conversations. We have excesses in the government. I cannot sit here and say we're a perfect and 100% government. But I can conclude by saying we train over a better country, a better foundation with systems than the one we improve Liberia than the one we took from Malasari. Even Malasari had a bad country, but what she left, we improve on it and added systems and control. I will go to education and tell you all of the things, but you say no because you doubted President Biya. Junior Boga is now president. I didn't come to discussing.
Okay, thank you, Kolba. Thank you very much. You can close up.
Okay, so somebody said the Unity Party people. I don't belong to a political party. I'm a Liberian. I take interest in what happens in Liberia because I live here and this is my country. And I think the lesson that will be learned from some of these discussions is that young people who go into government and governance should not just see they are going there as an opportunity to get something for themselves. They should be able to sometimes point out some wrongs, some excesses that they know are happening. But if we just glue ourselves to defending the system that we are in because we owe loyalty to that system, I think we're doing injustice to our country. So I said here today, what did I say today? That there are some issues even in the current government. I support the government, but I don't defend the government, because to say you are defending a government means that everything that is happening everywhere in all three branches of government is what you are defending. But this, I guess, is what some people fall short of. I mean, you can be in a system and still point to the wrongs that are happening there. And so thank you for this opportunity. And as I said, there's nothing about backtracking. If Benedict Koruma feels strongly that we talk about Job, we're comparing George Weah and Joseph Boakai, let him bring the clip forward. But even in the absence of bringing the clip forward, we still discuss the issue to a certain fashion. And we cited instances where President Boakai took over a more difficult country from George Weah than George Weah did when he took over from President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Even though that wasn't said, I mean, we still discuss it.
Okay.
So it was good to discuss. I know Benedict very well. We haven't seen each other for a very long time. And I would just hope that he stay in the party. As a young fellow, they all should look at the system to see what went wrong or what is wrong in the system to correct. But if you keep insisting that everything was okay, you know, then that's a problem.
Okay, thank you.
No. Don't get me wrong. I didn't come here to discuss CDC system. I didn't say everything CDC was correct. I didn't say that.
Okay, Benedict, let's leave it at that. George Kennedy, my panelists, let's hear your parting comment quickly.
Thank you. I think I want to tell Ben thank you, and also I know you are saying some things. He branded every one of us as UP people, but it's no problem. Sometimes what we do is when we see the issue, when it is a fight, we say it. A lot of people will say, "Well,
sorry, Kennedy, before you close, are you the Kennedy from Zozo? You from Zozo?"
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Which are the
Kennedy, the former representative, former farmer chief.
Bongedu Maya.
Please, you guys. You guys, when I can come back.
I didn't want to talk. Because I just.
So that your closing remark would be. So you want to soften your closing statement.
So the truth is, you know, what was said here was the truth. A lot of mistakes went on. I tend to agree with Jonathan when he spoke about systems being set up, institutions being put into place, and those institutions were defunded over the last 6 years of former President Weah. It led to system breakdown. Why it's true that Ben and some of the young guys, progressive guys, were there working. He would tell me the truth. Yes, I know. When we go to the Poorest Society, he would tell me the truth. But the thing here is if you cannot fund the LACC, you cannot fund all the institutions properly, you can no computers in most of the places, they've gone down, the government will malfunction. Definitely you'll be turning a bad country over to the next regime if all you lose the election as was in this case.
Okay,
so
Kennedy, thank you very much. Again, let me say thank you to Mr. Benedict Kennedy and Mr. Benedict Koluba. We really want to thank you for taking time off a busy schedule. Also want to thank you, Mr. Jonathan Pelele. We really appreciate your time being on this program tonight.
Somehow you will do justice. We play Jonathan Pelele clip as your closing point.
Okay, so let's try to recognize some of our viewers tonight. Sidiki Traore, he didn't see where he was watching from. Bobby Brown said you were watching from Broadville City, Paco Center. Honorable Destiny Seaton from District 15. Ophelia S. George said she was watching from Corner Creek Gaining. Hassan Cooper from Caldwell. Honorable EST, he didn't say where he was watching from. Cyrus Chisholm from Camp Johnson Road. Azusala Vakba from Dupo Road, watching from Dupo Road. Young C. Massacre didn't say. Augustine Futuer from Chocolate City, Gardnersville. Well, on behalf of the entire team, Saba George is my name. Join us again on Wednesday for another fascinating edition of this program. Until then, have a pleasant night.